Kountry Boi production. King, use the plug.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This your boy Randolph Clay with Kountry Boi Productions. Right now I'm partnering up with Trap Monsters. So I'm bringing you a little tutorial on mixing. Kind of go through a couple things real quick, like I've done some stuff before you get to see what you see before you hear. I basically grouped all my drums together, all my instrumentals, or right in here you get the ARP, the bass, Diablo, pad, and stuff like that. I actually got a little bit of the drums down here because this is a two-part track. It's actually got like a little dance part that comes in at the end. So basically what you're looking at here is I've already strip sliced everything. Just to give you an example of what strip slice is you can see this track right here. I go to edit. I'm using Pro Tools 12. Go to edit. Go to strip slice, and you basically measure out what you want to cut. All this right here you don't want. Excuse me. All this right here you don't want. You want to get rid of all of that. So once you can make your adjustments here. The end of it, the end pad. You can come to the end, cut what you want. You got the strip threshold, which kind of it adjusts everything. Like you see, it's gone there. Then right there it comes back. It makes an overall adjustment, I guess you could say, on both ends. But since I only got like a little piece to show you, we're really just messing with this little clip start pad and end pad right now. So anyways, I got it measured out how I want and just strip it and it's gone. So I did all that. One of the other things I do, come down here, make a master track. I got Maxim. I use Maxim for more loudness, you know what I'm saying? You got your ceiling and threshold right here. This right here, this little section is the peak limiter that is showing you, and here's some of the adjustments and stuff you can make to that. I typically use factory settings because I only need a little bit more, I typically just need a little bit more volume, because a lot of times whenever I make the track, just me personally, usually it comes out a little bit lower than I like, so I'll give a little bit more volume, and it makes some of the instruments and stuff a little bit more predominant, a little better for me to hear, and it also gives me a little more volume overall towards the end without me having to crank it up and bust through the top end or peak, distort and stuff like that. So for me, that's what I kind of do with it. Right now I have the track up. I actually have a compressor on here. I'm just going to bypass it real quick. So we start with the bass drum, which is the 808. I typically will start with my drums. It's one of the first things I kind of like to do. But before that, I kind of give you a little a listen at the track and what I'm working with. So kind of for some of y'all that really don't know what's going on, that don't know about mixing at all, from my end, I can definitely hear a few things. It's a little bit louder. Some things that need a little more tapering off, I guess you could say. A little bit of compression here and there. One of the first things I learned is about mixing is you definitely want to have your the track to be balanced out as far as mono and stereo. If you have everything in stereo, then you're not going to leave no headroom for anything. Everything's just going to be out on the sides of your speakers, and it's just going to be, it's going to sound kind of messy. If you have everything in mono, then everything's just going to be like right there in the middle. You're not going to have no real warmth or anything on the outside. So I kind of, it's kind of up to you personally. One of the biggest things I learned is typically majority of my drums, majority of that usually gets put in mono, but sometimes I just kind of decide, like, I have a couple different hi-hats. I have this one right here, which is it's a closed hat. It's got more pattern to it, I guess you could say. It's got more rhythm to it. So I put that in mono, you know, and I also have this other hi hat. It's more it's a little bit wider of a hi hat. It's kind of simple, kind of basic. Didn't do a whole lot with it, so I really just left that in stereo because that's just a feel that I wanted with it. And a lot of times with my open hi hats, I always leave them in stereo because it's just something I prefer to do. But first thing I'm really gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and mute this bass drum. Matter of fact, I'm just going ahead and run to the mixer. First thing I'm gonna do is mute solo, not mute solo this bass drum, and I'm gonna pull back up this compressor. One of the things I like to personally do um, is compress a good bit of some of my drums because compression it kind of it takes that signal and it crushes it down a little bit and it makes it more solid and more predominant. So for me, I'm a basically what I'm gonna end up doing is dropping out some of the input by negative dB, and I'm gonna bring my threshold up a little bit, and then I'm gonna make and go to the back end, which is kind of like the output, I guess you could say, the makeup gain, and I'm gonna bring it up some because the input is gonna bring the volume of the actual bass drum down. So so basically here's my input, here's my threshold, here's my makeup gain, and I'll adjust my attack and my release. It's just preference to me. Like the release is like, you know, you have that little end of the like you get to the end of that sound, like the end of this bass drum, you get to that end part. It you can either have it set to kind of hold over a little bit or actually have it set to cut back a little bit. So you might have a doom doom doom, but you might go doom doom doom. You know, you can kind of do stuff like that. The attack is really at the beginning when the drums the bass drum starts. You know, it you can either have it come in pretty predominant when it first hit, or you can actually have it come in a little more mellow, be a little more level across the board. Excuse me. So you know, I'm gonna get into it and I'm kind of show you what I do. Since I have this in mono, I will actually kind of cut over and go mid side with this because it's not in stereo. So I'm just kind of control the mids, the you know, stuff like that. So here we go. So you can kind of see where the bass drum is at right now. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and kill some of that input, and I'm gonna bring my threshold up a bit. Excuse me, and then I'm gonna give it some gain. And you can, and as you can see, and I'll bypass it to show you. You can see that you have a little bit more control over it. Like right here, it sounds a little more wider, but right here, it actually brings that in a little bit, and it controls some of that. I can't think of the word that I'm looking for, but it brings it together. It sounds a little bit more hard hitting, stuff like that. I'll probably adjust my attack a little bit. I really don't want it to come in too hard at the beginning. I want it to be level kind of all the way through. And my release, I'll just allow it to kind of hold over a little bit at the end. So we have that, and a lot of times I'll actually go through and do some EQ on this to give it a little bit harder hit. But you know, this 808, it's got a pretty good hard hit to it already, so I'm not really gonna do anything with that. But I'm gonna come over to my kick, and let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up on that. And with my kick, this is a Timberland kick that I use, so it's kind of muffled, kind of muddy. So one of the first things I will typically do with this kick is I'll hit it with some EQ. You know, right now what I'm doing is I'm adjusting the what is it? The hertz, not the hertz. top shelf, I think it is. Is that the top shelf? Yeah, I think that's my top shelf right there. I'm adjusting. And what it does is it brings a little clarity to that kick. Like in case you, this is what the kick is without it. Then with it, I don't know if you can tell, it's kind of subtle, but it actually cleans it up a little bit. And this is the SSL EQ I'm using right here. I typically turn the analog off. That's just something I typically do. And then I'll hit this filter in. But one of the first things I like to kind of do with this is I kind of bring out some of that low mid frequency. And because for me, that's where kind of some of that muddiness comes from for me. And then I'll give it a little bit, little more bottom in, make it a little more prominent. But I'll adjust the high frequency and the mid high frequency a bit to clean it up a little bit so it's not so muddy. And I'll take in right now I cannot remember what this is called right now. I don't know why. But I'll typically take this and I'll just what this does is it takes that sound and you can either go this way and widen it out a little bit or come back down this way and narrow it out a little bit. I typically like to narrow out my kicks and stuff like that because I really wanted to kind of just hit in one place. I don't really like too much width to them. That's just something I personally don't like. But that's basically what I do there, and that's really just right now. That's just really the kicks I have right there and stuff like that. Kind of move on to a little bit of these sounds here. I got this Diablo pad. Excuse me. And the thing I want to do with this is I'll typically take it out. One of the first things I'll do is I'll pull my virtual bus compressor, my compressor, and I'll do some compression in it because compression also helps with helping some of these tracks stand out a little bit more amongst everything going on. I really won't do no EQ into it. I'll really just do the compression to it. But one of the other things I'll do, because it's one of my main sounds, is one of the personal things I like to do is I like to come in and I like to do like to widen it a little bit. I'll take it and I'll make it wider so it kind of fills in a little bit more. And I'll just kind of bring it down a little bit, make some adjustments or whatever. But just kind of. It's just that's just of course I got a lot of work to do, but I'll kind of hop to it and let you get like a little look at what I'm doing and try to explain some more of these things as I go. So one of the other things I'm really going to do too is I'm going to come back over here with this art. And with this art, all I'm going to really do with it is because actually go ahead and adjust that volume a bit. But with this art, it's kind of right there with the Diablo pad. So I'll go ahead and compress it too, so it's kind of in its own zone. It's already got like a different frequency. The Diablo pad's on a lower frequency, where this is on a higher frequency. So I don't really have to do no adjusting EQ wise because the frequencies don't really clash. I just like to kind of compress it so it kind of be dominant and stand out on its own as its own sound. So I'll come and I'll do a little bit of compression to it, not too much or nothing. I really won't fool with nothing else on that. That's just how I like it. That's just kind of, everything I'm doing here is just kind of a personal preference, kind of personal things that I do that I've learned over time. So, so what I'm going to do is kind of start soloing some of these sounds I've already got together. And I'm going to start pulling other things in with it and kind of showing you how I make adjustments and stuff as I go. So. definitely gonna compress this bass just to kind of tighten it up and give it more of a solid feel, a little bit more rumble. So now you see it's I'm gonna bypass it, and you'll hear, especially on these higher notes, you hear it kind of come out wider. But with that bypass, it just makes it a little more solid, a little more together. And I'm gonna see what it sounds like with everything else. Typically, I will do some EQ on my bass if I want it to kind of come through and punch a little bit more. But I probably won't do nothing extra with this one. But it's also kind of important to do a little bit of compression, especially when you got an 808. Especially when you have an 808 and a bass like that, it's kind of important to do a little compression so they can stand out on their own. Because sometimes you have an 808 and a bass, and you'll get like this kind of wobbly, weird, muffly sound that comes on when both of them they tend to clash. So a little bit of compression helps them stand out on their own, and it cuts down on a lot of that. In my opinion, I feel like it cuts down on a lot of that. So I'm gonna get into a few more things here. So I'm gonna clean this clap up a little bit. This clap's a little muddy, so we're gonna clean this up a little bit and make it a little more crisp. I'm definitely gonna pull this in.